Hi guys. Okay, this video is part of the hashtag Give a Scrap Hop, which has been hosted by Angela over at the Travelling Crafter. And what it is, a different creator each day throughout April will make something or show you something they've already made, just using scraps, any scraps, or recycled materials. So I'll put a list in the description box down below of each creator each day, and pop over and check out their channels. So everyone's doing different projects. We don't know what each other are doing, so it's quite fun. Now each creator will then also tag another channel to then make something as well, and they'll tag another person, and so on, just throughout April. If you want to see, you can go to each individual channel, like I said, in the description box below. I've got all their links. Or you can put in the hashtag Give a Scrap search in YouTube, and then you'll find everyone's videos, including the people in the hop have tagged. Okay, so I'll be tagging Kirsten over at Penny Rose Journals because I know she's a great little recycler. And the link to her channel is also down below. But yeah, search hashtag Give a Scrap in YouTube and you'll see everyone included, not just the 30 listed in the hop down below. Okay, let's get on with it. I've got this giant bag of scraps. Now, last year I used scrap papers, I think. So this year I thought I would use scrap fabric, which I'm drowning in, of course. Now, this bag is quite big, as you can see. It covers my mat. It's all long, thin strips, varying widths. Oops, I'll need that one for this challenge. Now, this is just a combination of seams, hems. You can see some are still sewn. Some I've cut the sewn bit off so that you're left with these strips all the time. Anyway, the whole bag is just strips. Some are short, some are long. I use them usually as tag toppers and stuff, but there's way too many. How many tags can I possibly make? Sometimes I'll use these as strings to wrap packages when I put stuff in my Etsy. But you'll find these pop up everywhere. Look, here's another little bag. It's ridiculous. Anyway, let's use some up. So, I had a bunch of green ones at the top because I've been going through my fabric shelves, which is mostly old clothing and linens. As you know, I'm a recycle-only crafter. You're probably sick of hearing that, but if you're new to my channel, I don't buy any new fabric or papers or anything. So I tend to have a lot of crap like this in my craft room. Now, cutting up old clothes, if you use old clothes as fabric, you'll know you end up with heaps of scraps like that. You know, the sleeves and the collars and all that. So what I've started doing, I pulled out a bunch of the green strips and I've just been sewing them down. Then on top, I've only got kind of halfway because I thought I'd stop and show you before I continue on. So I sewed a whole bunch of random green strips, some quite ugly, like this polka dot material. It's quite thick. I know this was one of my grandmother's dresses, green dots. So was this. Anyway, then on top, I've been sewing these greeny brown strips that I don't even know what this is of. So the base strips I've sewn all the way around the strip, like a big long rectangle. But the top strip, I'm just doing one straight stitch down the center because I want it to be loose and scruffy. See how it's not sewn down properly? Now, I don't use any, what is it? I don't even know what it's called because I'm not a proper seamstress. I'm a pretend one. You know that iron-on interfacing or what fusible interfacing or something like that. I don't even know what it's called. That people use. I don't use that because, yeah, I don't buy new craft stuff. So, on the back, sorry, this looks a bit scruffy because I've got all threads and fluff on it now. On the back is just a piece of old polo shirt from my grandkids' school. So they go through a zillion shirts every year because they get so grotty. It's a pale lemon colour, and it doesn't matter how much you soak and spray them, they get, you know, marker and pen and everything on them. So I always cut these up and I don't know, I just use them for whatever. In fact, I've got so many now, they're just, most of them get used as cleaning rags because they're too grotty to go to Goodwill or anything. Plus they've got the school logo on them, so they're a bit useless. Anyway, so I've been cutting up the kids' last year polo shirts, and I'm using some as bases. Now, this one, like I said, I've only used greens. I've got another one that I've almost finished, blues, and another with pinks and reds. Okay, so I've sewn it straight down to the base. And what I'm going to do with these is make some little mini journals, because I think overall, as a big sheet, even once I finish this, it might be a bit ugly. So what I'm going to do, I think if I cut it like that into little journals that side, will be super cute. Anyway, that's the plan, but of course my plan changes about 50 times through a project as I go. So I'm going to go ahead and finish sewing these little strips of whatever this ugly fabric is along like that, and then I'll be back. Okay, it's all sewn. Now I'm just going to cut it into 4 pieces. So one there and one there to make 4 little mini journal covers. Okay, change of plans. I've decided to make the journal a little bit bigger, meaning I'll have these 2 pieces left over, which I will probably still turn into little journals somehow. Or I may make tags out of this piece. We'll see. Anyway, I'll pop those aside for now, but they will become something. Now, I've decided to make this a little baby nature journal. Okay, so on this side, I was going to leave it floppy and just line the inside with more fabric, but I think what I'm going to do is, I've got the cover of a Yellow Pages book here. I'm just going to put a bit of this. It's not too thick and it's a bit flexible. I'm just going to put a little bit on the inside and then line it, just so that it's got a little bit of rigidity to the cover. And I mean, you don't have to. You could leave it totally flippy floppy cover. Oh, it's just about to use that. So let's cut this up. Okay. I always laugh if someone ever pulled one of my journals apart. They would find the craziest things inside, hidden away. Okay, I'm just going to glue that down. Now, this doesn't need to be glued super great. I know this is shiny, so this glue may not even hold, but that's okay because I'm going to sew it anyway. I more just want to tack it down. Okay. And I think I'll put a little closure on it. Now I've got some of that same fabric. It's a seam that's already sewn. It's the very edge of the seam. I think I'm just going to use that. Now, normally I would just, if I make a soft cover journal, I would put that straight across the whole thing. But this isn't long enough, so I'm just going to glue it to the edge because it'll be sewn anyway. Middle is somewhere here. So when I sew the edge, it'll be held down anyway. Okay, and somewhere here. Is that in the middle? I can't tell. That'll do. Okay, now I'm just going to get some fabric and line the inside and then sew around the edges. Okay, so I had a little scrap of upholstery fabric left over from a little mini journal I made ages ago. So I've lined the inside with that, and I've done a small zigzag stitch around the edge. And because this fabric, it frays quite easy, my zigzag stitch, I go over the edge to kind of seal it, if that makes sense. Actually, I did a video on that ages ago. I'll put the link to that down below if you want to know what I mean. Anyway, so there's my little journal cover. It's quite thick and sturdy. So, what side do I want as the front? Maybe that. Okay. I have not folded this. I probably should have folded the phone book cardboard before I glued it down. Oh no, that's okay. It makes quite a sturdy little cover. I love it. It feels nice. Okay. Let's put a pocket in. I might still go around with a straight stitch around the border. I feel it's missing that. I usually use a dark brown thread, but in this case I still had green thread in from sewing the scraps. But yeah, I might go around it with a dark green thread maybe. Yeah, I feel it needs it. So I'm going to put a pocket in. Now I was tossing up, I've got this pretty piece of upholstery fabric sample. I was thinking of sewing it down when I sewed around the edges to make it like that, but I think it's too bulky in the center. So what I might do, I might cut it in half and do a half pocket, I think. Oops, another change of plans. I did cut these pockets to put here, but I don't like how they sit. I think it's too thick. So I have some little pre-made book page pockets that I made a while back, and I think I'm just going to go with those. I'll glue those down. I've also sewn around the edges. I don't know, I just feel it's more finished. I don't know. So I've sewn around the edge again, but in a darker thread. And I've got some chunk papers that I've scavenged off my desk. They're all coffee dyed. So these are all papers that are found, or, you know, this is like out of a book. This is an avocado dyed envelope. Renee's at it again. Sent me a whole bunch. She's a great recycler too. I'll put the link to her channel down below. Anyway, I'm going to just cut my little papers to size, glue these in, and I think I'll just sew them in and come back and we'll decorate the cover. I'm just going to do a simple 3-hole pamphlet stitch straight through the spine, which I'm sure you've all seen before. I'll quickly sew that in and we'll come back and just put a little something on the cover. Okay, little journal is done. I popped some ephemera in and I'll do a quick flip through. I decided not to put anything on the cover because it's quite busy and I quite like it how it is. It feels really nice. It's sturdy and, you know, those journals that just feel good to hold. Anyway, that's the front. Nice and scruffy. That's the back. I just love little bits of scraps sewn down. It's so appealing to me. Side. Okay. Let's do a little flip through. Okay. So it's not really embellished, just a few pockets and bits of ephemera. So in here I've just popped a little playing card that this has been kicking around for 5 or 6 years. Pamela from, oh gosh, I keep calling her Gypsy Girl Crafts, but she changed her channel name. I can't remember your new channel name, even though you've had it for a few years, Pamela. I keep thinking of your old name. I'll put the link to her channel down below. Pamela, I believe you sent this to me like 5 or 6 years ago. Anyway, had a pretty little flower on it, so I've popped that in there. And I just had some ephemera that was already pre-made, so I've popped that in. That was some just collage food packaging. Collage with all little scraps. This little piece of lace was just on the desk, so I just last minute shoved it in the front of the signature before sewing it in. It may annoy me or whoever ends up with this journal, I don't know, so it can always be glued there and it becomes a little belly band. I don't know, I'll leave it for now. With some old coffee dyed baking paper. think I used it as a drop sheet on the ironing board, so it's got that pattern. Scrap papers, coffee dye. This is one of those little pocket envelope thingies I made a couple of weeks back. Actually, it might have been the previous video to this. Little bird cluster. Just a picture out of a stamp catalogue. In here I've popped one of my little bird feathers. Isn't that cute? I love it. It's so cute. This was plastic packaging from one of the grandkitties' toy boxes, you know, with the plastic on the front. I did a video about a month ago on that. Coffee dyed papers. These are all junk papers, so I don't buy new papers. They're rescued from everywhere. Any paper that comes through my house ends up in my craft room. Actually, I'm going to put a photo on my community page later today. Just have a look at that. And that explains everything, okay? Actually, I'll try and put it up straight after this video so you can see what I'm talking about. Just a little book page tag and a coffee dyed index card with a mushroom stamp in that little pocket. Here the page was too wide, so I just folded it over to make an extra pocket, and I've just put a picture of a flower in there. I've got heaps of photos. I've been shoving them in every journal to get rid of them. I thought it's nature. It can go in. Avocado dyed envelope. I don't know. These are super grungy. I can't even remember when I did those. This side I've put another photo. Just some trees. No idea where that is. In here I've just popped another coffee dyed index card with a stamped flower. And just some scrap ephemera. These are my glue drop pages. I just turn them into extra little writing spots. Little cluster. Popped another little feather in here. I know some people don't like bird feathers, but I love them. I think they're really beautiful. And another little book page tag. These are like, you know, the end of the chapter. There's sometimes some blank space. I just fold it over, make it a little tag. Anything to use up a book page. I actually quite like this in the as a page in the journal. There's my annoying little piece of lace I put in for some random reason. And I put a bug tag in there. I don't even know when I made this bug tag. Would have been years ago. Long forgotten. I've got so many collage series box tags kicking around. It's ridiculous. And another little flower tag. I believe that was a collage phone book page. Anyway, that's my little scrappy fabric journal with a kind of nature-ish theme. Now, like I said, go check out all the lovely creators in the link below, and also search the Give a Scrap hashtag just to check out all the channels that are also being tagged. And I believe if you search that hashtag, you'll also see last year's hop videos as well. Anyway, thank you, Angela, for hosting this hop. It's fun. I love anything junky and recycled. That's kind of everything I do in my craft room anyway, so this was no bother for me. And I hope you like my little journal. Thanks for watching.